It's Joe Mendoza here in sunny San Diego. Welcome to my show. Thanks so much for watching, subscribing, and sharing the great word. Ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to have an amazing guest on my show. Now, this person is also a business associate, business partner of mine, coming from San Antonio, Texas. Woo! He's killing it, absolutely killing it. He has over 3,000 agents. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Pat Hayes. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, thanks for having me, Joe. I'm doing awesome. Just living the dream over here at EXP, baby.
I'm super excited to hear your story. For the audience that doesn't know you, let's take them back. Before EXP, before real estate, tell us a little bit about Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm here in San Antonio, Texas with EXP Realty. Been selling real estate here in San Antonio for 8 years. But before my real estate career, I did the whole traditional, go to college and, go get that awesome degree to go make mom and dad happy. So I did that. I went and got a degree at Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas. And then right after that, I jumped into medical sales here in San Antonio for about 6 years, having a lot of fun, making a lot of great money. But I was on that corporate America hamster wheel where, I was just kind of, the next year it started over. My quota was getting raised and raised and raised and raised. And, I was working for the man and I wanted to be the man. So I actually, after 6 years, I left corporate America and left that, behind and bought a senior home care franchise, which is kind of crazy because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about the industry, but my dad was the CFO of the whole entire organization based out of San Antonio. And I had an opportunity to buy an underperforming franchise office in Austin, Texas. And so ended up buying that, bought it for $50,000, ended up growing it for 3 years and took it from $250,000 in annual revenue to $1.3 million in 3 years. Bought it as an investment and ended up selling it. And then in between, and so let me kind of go back. So whenever I was in medical sales, that's whenever I got my real estate license. And I actually joined a farm and ranch broker based out of Hondo, Texas ranch sales. So I sold a few ranches, if you believe it or not. Then whenever I bought that senior home care franchise, I put my license inactive for a few years and then sold the franchise in 2013 and always wanted to do residential real estate. So I parked my license with a small independent brokerage firm here in San Antonio. But between selling that company and finding that boutique brokerage firm here in San Antonio, I was a private investor for a digital media marketing startup company. Within about 6 months, I lost my whole investment of over $300,000. And so I had to make real estate work. I didn't want to go back to corporate America and get back on that hamster wheel. So I dove straight into real estate. So my first year, so after I joined that boutique brokerage firm at the end of 2013, my first full year in real estate was 2014. I sold $3.2 million in production. As a single agent, really found my passion selling real estate, and I wanted to go to the next level. And the only way for me to do that back then was to become a team leader. So I became a team leader that second year. Second year, I sold $12.5 million in production, 61 transactions, and then that's whenever I got that life-changing phone call. The end of my second year, December of 2015. For me to take a look at a new business model that was changing the way that agents were being compensated and also disrupting the real estate industry. So I had an open mind and I took a look at the opportunity, and the rest is history. So I've been with EXP now for going on 62, 63 months as I track it in months. Everybody makes fun of me because I track it in months, but I'm having a blast over here.
That's awesome, Pat. Thanks so much for sharing. Now, let's jump back a little bit to some of those steps in between. Yeah. Now, it sounded you were having a great business with the senior housing or that franchise. Why didn't you just stay that course? Why do you end up selling it?
Well, it's kind of a burnout industry because it's 24/7, 365. And so we provided caregivers to come into the homes of the elderly so they could live their elderly years in their home instead of having to sell it and then go into a retirement facility. And so, it was tough. I managed, over 100 employees, and, it was just an investment. And so I grew it to the point where, I could sell it and, get a great return. And so ended up doing that. But I learned a lot throughout those 3 years. I really did. And so, I live here in San Antonio, Texas, and the franchise where I bought was in Austin, Texas. So it was a 2-hour drive, almost every single day. So it was time after 3 years to let it go. And I built it up and the new owner came over and it took over, and the rest is history. So it was a lot of fun, though.
Sounds good. Now, you're quite the entrepreneur, the go-getter. Now, why didn't you think like, hey, you know what? Let me just start my own brokerage.
Yeah, and I honestly, I really didn't, know what to do or where to start. And I just wanted to start small. I didn't want to go to a big KW office, a Century 21 office, a Coldwell Banker office, or a Remax office, all great companies out there. But it was a perfect timing for me to connect with my boutique brokers because they were starting and wanting to start growing their brokerage firm. And so it was a perfect timing for me to step in. And so I stepped in and I helped them. I was their first agent, and I helped them get their office to about 65 agents in a little over 2 years.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, you said you started as a solo agent and then you shifted to team leader. Right. Why did you want to do that?
Yeah, and so I was looking to grow and I was wanting to scale, and that's the kind of the old traditional way of scaling is hey, you become a team leader, hire a few buyers agents and start growing a team, and so I needed to leverage myself, and so that was the only way for me to do that back then was to become the team leader, and so I did so. Now over here at EXP, just like what you said, I've been over here since December of 2015, and I've been able to personally sponsor 41 agents to the organization. That's grown into over 3,100 agents spanning 45 states, 5 Canadian provinces, Australia, India, and Mexico.
That's amazing, Pat. Now, I love that you pointed out the word leverage. I mean, in real estate, that's all we think about. If you really want to scale, you want to have passive income, you want to grow. What were some of the challenges in between those 6 years or 63 months, as you said, scaling?
Yeah, and so, for one, I love real estate. It's my passion, it's my livelihood, and I still have a small sales team here in San Antonio. We do anywhere from $7 to $10 million a year in production every single year. But I saw the opportunity with EXP that, we could share this model with like-minded individuals all across the country and grow a massive revenue share organization. And so that's what I did. I saw the vision, I saw the opportunity, and I just took full advantage of it. And so, it's amazing that, my revenue share organization sold close to 1,200 houses last month, and I wasn't even a part of one single transaction. And so that's the beautiful thing about this opportunity in this model is you can grow a massive revenue share organization all across the country. Wherever EXP is, you can attract agents to the model there and start having your agents sell those houses and whatnot. And so I saw the opportunity to leverage myself even more, other than just become a team leader. I can become kind of the head of a massive revenue share organization. And so I saw the opportunity and took full advantage of it. And it hasn't been easy. No, hasn't been. It's been a lot of fun. But it didn't happen overnight. I'm going on my 6th year now at EXP, and my organization is now growing. Over 245 agents now are joining my revenue share organization every 30 days.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Pat, so I coach a lot of people throughout the nation and several countries, and I always tell them, hey, to scale, you need great people and great systems. Who are some of your core people in your immediate group helping you run your business and your 3,000 organization? Who are some of your core immediate people?
Yeah. And, and I've got a lot of great agents, in my direct revenue organization though, but, I've got about 4 or 5 runners, as I call them, that really took full advantage like I did in growing this organization. I've got my good friend, Brent Walgren, he's got a group of close to 500 agents. I've got Ian Flanagan. I've got Bob Mangold, which, is a lot of you guys in California. He's responsible for that because then he went out and got, Larry White and Joseph Limo, and it just started exploding, right? And so it's amazing how fast this can grow. You get one leader and, you get one big influencer, and then all of a sudden your organization just grows, and we're able to get paid off of 7 tiers in our organization. And so it's a lot of fun. Agents are having a blast, just like my good friend and my mentor, Gene Frederick says, EXP is making real estate fun again. And it truly is. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So how about staff? Do you have anybody on salary, any virtual assistants, anybody like that?
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't. I just have myself. And my wife. My wife is kind of my executive assistant, if you will. And I was able to retire her from corporate America because of the revenue share, right? And so we set a goal back in January of 2018. Whenever my revenue share check, hits a certain dollar amount, then I would let her give her 60-day notice to her boss and exit corporate America after 13 years. She was a physical therapist, and she managed 75 physical therapists here in San Antonio, 15 locations here in San Antonio, and she was on that corporate America hamster wheel as well too. Just always grinding. Made great money, 6 figures. The benefits and the trips and the bonuses and all the incentives and all that stuff. But we said, hey, you know what? I want you to help me. Work with me. And so 6 months later, in July of 2018, we hit that goal, which was a huge, lofty goal. We hit that goal as a family. And since then, she gave her 60-day notice and trained her replacements. And since then, got her real estate license. And now she's working with me and having fun with me. So it's kind of it's us together. And then also my dad is my CFO of my real estate organization, my real estate business. And so it's just kind of a little family business that we all manage and run together.
That's awesome, Pat. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Now, I can imagine that your day must be pretty full, or how do you structure your day? Because, having that many agents and all kinds of business going on, do you have a miracle morning, evening ritual? What's your day look like?
Yeah, so my wife and I, we've got 3 kiddos. We've got boy-girl twins that are getting 10 right now, get ready to be 11 next month. They're in 5th grade. And then a baby boy I call him baby boy. He's 8, getting ready to be 9. That's in 3rd grade. And so, we start our morning, obviously, with them and breakfast with them, get them up, get them ready for school. And we my wife and I take them to school as a family. And then whenever we drop them off, that's kind of when whenever our day gets started. Sometimes we like to, depending on the time of the year or the weather, we like to go for walks. And we've got 2 dogs as well too, so we'll take them for walks in the morning and then, kind of really get our day started. But, my day is, jam-packed full of 3-way phone calls with other agents, full of Zoom calls, sharing the EXP opportunity with other agents. I travel a lot as well too. doing presentations on the road. And so, every day is totally different. I mean, my calendar, like today, my calendar is booked, with about 7 or 8 appointments, 3-way phone calls, Zoom calls or whatnot. But but it's fun though. I love a jam-packed day. It makes the day go faster and it's a lot of fun. And, if my calendar is full, that means we're growing and we're having fun.
Are there any rituals that you have? Maybe like workout routines, meditation, any secret sauces?
You know what? It's kind of funny though. I like to do a lot of cold plunges, right? And so it's I've got a swimming pool in the backyard, and so it's jumping in the cold water. It's called Wim Hof, and it's jumping in the cold water. And I learned it from my good friend, the co-founder of EXP, Brian Colhane. He kind of got me started about 3-4 years ago. It's called cold plunges, and so jumping in the water, and it's a lot of fun. And we do that here in the winter times, not in the summer times though. But that's kind of what I do. And of course, I like to go on runs and walks and work out whenever I can. But really just spending time, quality time with the kiddos in the morning. That's kind of our ritual with my wife and I.
Awesome. Any favorite books that you have that help you keep your mind straight or help you scale? Any favorite books?
You know what? I like a lot of books. I don't really have one favorite book at all. But anything that I can get my hands on that will help me go to the next level. I do have a good friend and a good mentor of mine, Tony Jerry, and he's a success coach. Been at his compound several times, and I've read a lot of his books. And if I had a favorite book or a favorite mentor, it would definitely be Tony Jerry.
Awesome. Now, for the audience that may be in real estate or just starting their careers, any word of advice you could share with them?
Yeah, and honestly, I wish, this is a true fact. I wish I would have known about eXp Realty whenever I first got started in residential real estate, because I was at that small independent brokerage firm learning on my own. I had to pay $6,000 my first year to be a Tom Ferry student. I had to hire Tom Ferry and a coach to help me kind of get my business to the next level. And at eXp, we share the same, education, the same knowledge for free to all the agents, right? And so if you guys haven't checked out eXp Realty, get with Joe, check out eXp. It's an amazing opportunity. The training is unbelievable. The lead generation tools and the systems that eXp offers is by far top notch. And then also the equity awards. Our stock is just going crazy. And then, the revenue sharing model as well, too, where you can actually share eXp with a few agents, and then they share with a few agents, and then you're actually building another stream of income, which is passive income from the revenue share, and kind of building that exit strategy, right? And so eXp is just an unbelievable model. It's life-changing. It's truly changed my life, changed my business, and we're only getting started. I mean, this is still the ground floor. This is still the garage. We're in the garage of eXp right now, because we're almost at 45,000 agents, and we're getting ready to launch 4 or 5 new countries this year, and we're just growing like crazy. We're growing at about 1,000 agents now every single week. That's right, every single week 1,000 new agents are joining eXp. So we're having a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked out eXp, you've never heard of eXp, get with Joe, take a look at the model, and would love to answer any and all questions that anybody has.
Pat, this has been a pleasure. I'm super excited to hear more in the future. Maybe have you back as a guest. We wish you well. Best way to get a hold of you. Anything else you wanted to share?
Yeah, you guys, you guys can definitely hit me up on Facebook Messenger, Pat Hayes, PATHAYS, and then, hey, my cell phone number, 210-693-8711, 210-693-8711. But hit me up on Facebook Messenger if you guys have any questions, and would love to, help anybody out.
Thank you again so much, Pat. Have an amazing day. We wish you well.
Hey, thanks so much, Joe. Take care.